Some of us walk through life with a 1,000-pound weight on our chest and we don't even know it. It's beliefs that it's just me, or that's just the way things are, or that's just how the cookie crumbles type shit. And I used to be that way too, until I realized that it was trauma that I can heal and grow from. And these are psychological change, deeply rooted hindrances that we believe that are just a part of who we are, and sometimes we feel like we can't even change it because that's just the way I grew up, and that's who I am, that's who I learned to be, so they run deep, they really do. But it's the cause of trauma, it's the cause of overthinking. We have abandonment wounds and even identity confusion. I can count on so many fingers of, different people that I know in these different aspects, including myself. But I am aware and so thankful that I have chosen to grow from this. And I'm here to help you process these emotions because it comes from unprocessed emotions, and psychological change are the emotional and mental wounds that shape our identity, choices, and reactions to things. And like I said, it's often from trauma, childhood abuse, or neglect, or long-term stress. So this is the episode where we make space for healing. The healing that our nervous system has been begging for, and we didn't even know it. We want better for ourselves. We want it so badly. We feel like there's no way out, but that's your nervous system telling you that there is something better for you. It's been begging for it, and this is the episode to help you move through that. If you ever feel like your past is still living in your present, comment release in the comments because you're not alone. Reminder for the newbies, welcome in and welcome back. This channel is about expanding our reality, healing from the inside out, allowing ourselves to tune into the life that we're meant to live, that we're meant to lead. No gimmicks, no fluff, just real transformation. So welcome in, like I said, and welcome back. Share to someone that you feel could use this type of content. Make sure to subscribe and like for the algorithm gods to push this content, because the world needs to rise and move from fear to faith and from lack into abundance. So let's get into it, y'all. Like I said, the psychological change, the deeply rooted subconscious beliefs into who we believe we are because of our traumas, because of our past, the overthinking, the baggage. It's seen as second guessing yourself, difficult to trust in people, oh my god, or not letting anybody too close. Bro, I've been through this and I'm still working through it. The journey never stops, but you become more peaceful, you become more happier, you become more of who you're meant to be the more that you have awareness of where you are now and where you want to go and who you are becoming. You know what I mean? So, it's that emotional numbness. It's the shutting down instead of expressing how you feel, because you have been shunned. You were shunned when you were little, trying to express or ask questions. So you are now quiet, and now you feel like you're never going to be heard. Those types of things have shifted us into the person we are today. But at the end of the day, that's not who you really are. Who we really are at our core is love. True oneness. Truly abundant. We're whole. And unfortunately, the situations that have come to pass growing up or recently, or especially looking outside of us in the world, we have been taught to fear and struggle and be in pain and talk down on the next man and beat the next man down to come up. You know what I mean? We haven't been taught to really love and to accept who we truly are. We've been taught to be materialistic and, things that don't really serve us at the end of the day. So some may start people pleasing to feel like they belong because they don't want to disappoint and they want to be accepted. It's a survival mechanism from eons and eons in the past. We were meant to know how to survive in the wilderness, and since we're no longer in that environment, we're still in that state of surviving, but we're surviving in a different way that doesn't do us any good. There's no good to feeling like we need to survive and having our nervous system in that state of mind constantly. It does nothing but break us down and cause sickness and pain and anger and heartache. But it's time to let that go. It's time to realize who we truly are. Like I said, loving beings, being human, not human beings, should I say. We're divine oneness, we're consciousness. And instead, we were taught to people please, and we adapted perfectionism as survival strategies, you know what I mean? And some people react strongly to small, minute situations, because they're triggered and don't know how to realize that it's a trigger and it's not really you. But because the situation touched an old wound, they just respond just like that without even thinking and remembering who they truly are at their core. Sometimes we may even self-sabotage when things start going well. We self-sabotage when things are going well because we're so used to surviving. We don't know how to thrive. We're not used to thriving. That's such a sad fucking concept to realize. But we can shift it to actually continuously thriving, to letting thriving and living in abundance be our dominant vibration. We can let abundance live in the subconscious mind instead of the chains being in the subconscious mind, because it doesn't show as I'm traumatized. It shows that I'm just the way that I am. It is what it is. They show up as habits. They show up as fears. They show up as patterns of who you think you believe yourself to be. I myself was taught to toughen up, don't cry. Even when I got whoopings, bro, don't cry, or I'm gonna give you something to cry about type shit. Like, what? So I learned to suppress my emotions. I learned to not show who I truly am, which is, low-key weird and goofy. Because I would get made fun of, even by my brother. Love him to death, but bro, it's nobody's fault. It's just what we're taught. Even in the Black community, we are so used to making fun of each other. We're so used to that. It's crazy. I don't know about any other culture, but they say it's out of love, but is it really? Nah, you talking down on the next person to try to make yourself feel good. That's not love. Making somebody feel shitty about themselves while you are laughing is not love. And it's not just the way things are. It's just what you've been taught. What we've been taught for so long to think that is normal, but it's not. And some of us have repeated painful experiences that have shaped our self-worth. Feeling unworthy, it's such a shitty thing to really accept and realize. But at the end of the day, we can change it. Like I said, we are worthy. We are divine oneness. We are a part of that divine creation. And we can really create our life how we want to starting right now, because we have been creating our life already based off of the thoughts, how we feel about those thoughts and the actions that we take. But we're shifting into the fifth dimension consciousness, and it's not even saying some mystical type shit. It's literally saying to shift your state of mind into love and letting go of the 3 dimension of fear, lack, struggle, and putting that down and accepting who you are at your core, which is love, being in the 5D. Think about it. When you were a baby, 9 times out of 10, when you were a baby, you were wholeheartedly loved. Everybody loved you. Even now looking at babies, you just want to smile. You're so happy because they are pure love. They are already pure and divine. But throughout the years, as we grow as humans, we are conditioned into a more of a lack state of being. We are conditioned to be more in the 3D reality. But that is null and void these days. Now, this over in this channel, in this corner, that is null and void. We are living and being our best self because we are entering into the state of mind of true abundance, of the identity that best serves us, our higher self, our best self. We don't go anywhere. We enter into this state of being, state of consciousness. When you go somewhere, you're conditioned and adapting to the 3D. You are trying to manipulate the 3D reality by your actions. But here we are understanding that it's really about love and letting go of all of that fear, the 3D consciousness, the fear, the stress, the self-doubt, the shame, the guilt. We're letting all of that go. We're healing and moving into a state of love. And in that state of love is where the actions flow, is where the thoughts become aligned with your heart. You feel me? Because right now it's out of alignment. You can consciously want something, but subconsciously, deeply rooted, you feel lack. You understand what I'm saying? So we're getting that in coherence, our mind and our heart in coherent to fully love and fully in our divine oneness. So we're letting go of blocking healthy relationships. We're letting go of replaying the past and instead of living in the present. We're letting go of survival mode and moving into thriving because we're safe. Right now we are safe. We're just choosing to see struggle. We're choosing to see and feel as if the past is going to come back to haunt us. So we're letting go of anxiety and emotional burnout and feeling like we need to be by ourselves because we can't stand the sight of being around humans. Bro, you can't stand to be by yourself. That's why you can't stand to be around humans. You feel like they don't like you and you don't like yourself. But we're letting that go. We are healing the internal to have the external. Be bliss, be love, be light. But we can't change our life. We can't change the world until we change us, ourselves. Nothing outside of us changes until we change. And that's a cold hard truth, man. Cold hard truth. But with that cold hard truth, you really understand that you have the power. All it takes is awareness and courage to change, to do better. So here's to getting your butt out of the way, literally and figuratively. Straight up, literally and figuratively. We are letting go of fear of judgment, letting go of overthinking, letting go of self-sabotage, that analysis paralysis. We are just doing it because it's already done. We just have to accept it, that is real, and let go of the bullshit and allow ourselves to be on the frequency of things already being the best version of things that they cannot possibly be, as well as ourselves. Here is the practical tools. Here is the keys to this shit. And the keys to one thing is the key to everything. One, being awareness. Awareness is key because without it, you can't really see anything that needs to be done. So we're noticing our triggers instead of running away from them. We're having the courage to look within. Why am I reacting this way? Why do I feel this way about this situation or this person? Why do I feel like I can't afford this? Why do I feel like I can't accomplish this? Ask yourself and notice these triggers. Why did I act that way? What in me? Remember, it's not anybody else or any other situation that made you trigger and react, because you wouldn't react and respond in that way unless you had the trigger. So the trigger is all on you. Accept that. Have accountability. Have accountability and love yourself through it all. Forgive yourself. Have grace. And have gratitude for even noticing. Have gratitude for where you're at. Gratitude is the attitude for the altitude. You feel me? Otherwise, like, think about it. Where has complaining gotten you? Where has everything that you have been doing up until now, where has it gotten you? Are you really where you want to be in life? Because if not, and I know you're not because you're watching this video, change your attitude. Change your thoughts and how you feel about those thoughts. Remember that a belief is just a thought that you keep thinking. It's not, in fact, true. It's something that you actually have a doubt about. Because if you knew something, there would be no doubt. You would know for a fact. So with a belief, you can change a belief. So step 1, awareness. Step 2 is inner child work, shadow work. Revisit those old wounds. Make sure you visit them with compassion for yourself, whoever was in the situation, the circumstances. Compassion for it all. Forgiveness. Forgiveness isn't for anybody else but you. When you forgive, you let go of that baggage and you allow yourself to feel lighter. We feel lighter because we are light beings. You feel me? You will be feeling lighter. You will see more light within you. You will see more light outside of you. Life is a reflection. Life is a mirror. So, as within, so without. So, revisit those old wounds with compassion and acknowledge the hidden emotions that you have kept suppressed and hidden for so long. Because you can't heal what you can't face with love. So we're healing it to health. Feeling more healthy, being more healthy. Heal equals health. And remember, we have to go through it to grow through it. Literally, it sounds so funny and cliche, but it's real. We have to go through it. We're not suppressing it anymore to grow through it. So feel it. Have compassion. Have that love for yourself, even your inner child. Reparent yourself. Give yourself that nurturing and protection that you needed as a kid or growing up. Give yourself more structure and the love that you didn't always get, that you know that you needed. Set healthy boundaries. Self-soothe instead of self-abandoning. When those emotions hit. So breathe, rest, speak gently to yourself, go out in nature, listen to a favorite song of yours that you listened to as a kid, rage journal, dance, paint, go out and skate, do something that you wanted to do so bad that you didn't do as a kid, or that you loved as a kid. Reclaim your joy. Create joyful rituals for yourself. Tell your inner child, set healthy boundaries, telling your inner child that you will keep y'all safe, that things are getting better and you have y'all's best interest in mind. You won't allow anyone to hurt you. You are protected. You are divinely protected and guided. And you know this now and you accept it. You are no longer a victim, but a victor of your life. Straight up. These are the things that you have to rewire in your mind. It sounds so cliche, sounds so funny, because we were taught to believe that these types of things are woo-woo and stupid to say, but it's really healthy for you. It really rewires your mind and your subconscious. You know, you create different neural pathways by repeating better, loving things to yourself, and in turn, you start to feel differently. You start to act differently. You start to eat differently. You start to consume things that are actually healthy for you, even with relationships, people, your drinking, your eating, your consumption in every aspect, what you listen to, what you watch, what you want to engage in. You don't no longer want to engage in drama. You know what I mean? You're not so connected to your ego self anymore. You are more of your higher self, your true essence. And it's a beautiful fucking thing. The more and more that you do it, you will see. I promise you. So yeah, we're reprogramming our beliefs with meditation and visualization. You know, meditation from having meditations about your younger self from your younger ages, even meditations on who you're becoming, and you're feeling who you're becoming. It's not even focusing on the outcome, but you're feeling who you're becoming in every situation that when it's already done. In every situation when it's already done. How do you feel? And then visualizing and meditating on your younger self, you know, and, you know, picture them. Even look at an older picture of you. Notice how they feel and what they might need from you, the version of you right now. Take note of that, and like I said, reparent and give yourself, your younger self, everything that you needed when you were younger. Now, you know, you can ask questions to your younger self, your inner child. What are you afraid of? What did you wish someone would have told you back then? What did you know things that you can ask yourself. So have courage to see that side of you and reparent and love that side of you. And remember to make peace with those parts, not erase those parts, because they are along for this journey. They just want some healing. They want to know that things can be trusted now. That's why so many of us are still in the predicament that we're in, because our younger self is leading. Our younger self is driving the fucking boat, while our older self, our current self, is sitting in the passenger seat. Our younger self is literally making decisions. It's literally reacting and responding from our traumatic self. And once you heal your inner child, y'all are going to switch seats. You're going to take the wheel, and your inner child is going to enjoy the ride. But right now, it's all going willy-nilly. You're drifting because a little kid can't fucking drive. A little kid don't know, you know? A little kid is just reacting to things. But that's where emotional intelligence comes in. That's where the love comes in. That's where the integration of your inner child and you comes in. To love and nourish and nurture. All parts of you are welcome here. Explore your judgments. What are the parts of you that you hide? Or what are you afraid that people will think of you if you do blank? You feel triggered when, because it reminds you of blank. Now, I know like some wounds are really too deep to carry alone. So, you know, join a meditation group, join the Cosmic Abundance Network, book a one-on-one session with me for mentorship, for coaching. I am here to help, and this community is growing day by day. So Yeah, or even check out a therapist. You know, there's resources out there, and I happen to have 3: this channel, the network, and one-on-one sessions. I'm here to help. Mentorship, coaching. We're breaking and disrupting those old patterns to construct the life that we truly deserve and truly want. This is lifelong work, and some days you feel empowered, other days you feel cracked wide open. And both are very valid and very sacred. So take it easy. Take it one step, day by day. Like I said, some days are better than others. And this is a lifelong journey. The journey is not done. We're always going to have things to grow from. We're always going to have things to learn from. You know, every situation is something that we can learn from. We have been taught to look at it as something that's hindering us. If it didn't go the way that we wanted it to, we complain. But that's null and void. Every situation, there's something to learn from, even if it's a low vibrational situation, even when it's something that's great for us. So when you're working on this inner child healing and shadow work, I have a bonus for you, a bonus practice. You know, speak to yourself how you wish an adult would have spoken to you when you were a child. I love you even when you're scared. You don't have to be perfect to be loved. It's okay to feel this because I'm not going anywhere. I'm always here for you. I'm going to love you through it all. And furthermore, I think this is the 3rd or 4th key. I lost track, but but this would be embodiment practices. You know, I already talked about meditation as your childhood and your current self, but also we have breath work. Also, there's movement, and there's EFT tapping and qigong. You know, getting out in nature. Something you will find something that fits you. It's not one shoe fits all, but there's different aspects for you to have these embodiment practices. I myself like qigong. I love meditation. I love breath work. So, and I love getting out in nature. I have a peripatetic soul. I love to travel. So, yeah, embodiment practices, visualization. The last one would be conscious creation and aligned action. You know, this conscious creation and aligned action comes from your feelings and your thoughts. Like, the aligned action just comes with it. That's just like a cherry on top, having that aligned action, you know, because we're not in the conditioning of action. Oh, I gotta do this to accomplish this. No, we're aligning with the vibration and the frequency of the life that is already done. We have that feeling and those thoughts aligned with that. And then the action is just a byproduct of who we are already, who we're becoming. You know, you want to take that action. You want to take that inspired action. So we're consciously creating the life that we desire and we want for ourselves, that we are worthy of. Because once we really let go of this 3D aspect, this 3D conditioning of struggle and pain and hurt and fear, like, there's no other way for us. It's like inevitable to allow the best version of us to unfold. It's inevitable, because what else do you have? All there is left is love and light and peace and joy and abundance and happiness. And that is way more than the struggle, than the unhappiness. You feel me? You become unshakable. You become unstoppable. You become unbreakable. You become unfuckwittable. You feel me? That's the road that we're on. That's the path that we're on. We're adapting to our true divine essence, oneness. allowing that aspect of us to unfold. So let's get to it. Remember, the psychological chains don't define you. They're just old programming. You have the power to rewrite it because you're unfuckwittable. Straight up. So drop a release in the comments for me if you're ready to let go of what no longer serves you and you are on this journey of abundance and creating the reality that is just for you. Like I said, if you want support on this path, join the Cosmic Abundance Network. The link is in the bio. Book a one-on-one session with me. The link is in the description as well. And in the next episode, we will go deeper into the spiritual and energetic aspects and the chains that weigh us down on the soul itself. This is about the chains that you can't see but feel every day. The key isn't outside of you, it's within you. And I actually want to start adding some of my peripatetic adventures onto my long form content because I feel like it just needs to be done and I really don't know what else to do with it. So I want to share this side of me with y'all as well as continue to encourage and empower myself and y'all from my content. Stay tuned. Much love to y'all. Peace. Be blessed and stay in love and light. Peace.